Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I want to start this video by thanking you so much, those people who have already subscribed to my channel. I'm actually overwhelmed with the response because I did not expect it. Being a first-time YouTuber, I didn't expect that overwhelming response. So thank you so much, guys. If you are new to this channel, welcome aboard. Welcome to the family. My name is Judith. I'm based here in Canada. And on this channel, I'm going to be providing immigration tips to Canada. And I'm also providing career tips when you eventually come to Canada. But in this video today, I want to talk about the most popular method that many people use to come to Canada, or the most popular program, I should say. And this is the Express Entry program. With the Express Entry program, the Canadian government is trying to target, or I can say attract, skilled immigrants from outside Canada. And the Express Entry program has three categories. The first category is called the Canadian Experience class. With the Canadian Experience class, you need to have worked here in Canada for at least 1 year for you to qualify to apply for permanent residence through the Canadian Experience class. Then the second category is called the Federal Skilled Worker Program. With the Federal Skilled Worker Program, now this is for people who are outside Canada who want to come and settle permanently here in Canada. There is also another category for people who are in the skilled trades like plumbing, electricians, and people who've done welding. There is also a category for them. They can apply for permanent residence through Express Entry. Now, someone might ask, so what do I do? Where do I start from? So there are two important steps that you need to do if you want to come through the Express Entry program. And the first step is for you to take your English test. So Canada accepts, for immigration purposes, they accept two tests, either the IELTS or the CELPIP. The IELTS, I think many people are familiar with the IELTS English test, even the CELPIP too. I'll put links in the description of this video so you can see how much it costs to take the test and how do they give the final score. So when you take the English test, you should aim to get at least a band 7 in each category. So the test has actually 4 parts. You are tested your speaking skills, your writing skills, your reading skills, and also your listening skills. So you need to at least try to achieve a band 7 in each category. And if you want to get a high score, then you should aim for a band 9. Because when you get a band 9, then it means when they are finally calculating your score, you get actually more points. I'm going to come to that. So band 9, it's actually you should get band 8 in listening. Then the other 3 categories, reading, writing, and speaking, you should at least get a band 7. So it's 8, 7, 7, 7 in the 4 parts of the English test. And then that way, you know that you can get extra points. If it's possible, you can even aim for a band 10. I know some people who've done the IELTS test several times because they had a score that they were aiming for and their dream was to come to Canada. So you can take the test as many times as possible until you get the score that you desire. And when you take the English test, it's valid for 2 years. And I'm sure that if you are pursuing this with everything that you have, by the time the 2 years are done, I pray that you will be here already in Canada, because I wouldn't want your test scores to expire and then you have to write again. So when you take the test, I hope after 2 years, you will already be here. So the first step, like I said, you take your English test. The second stage is you need to do educational credential assessments. So this is a process whereby they evaluate your educational credentials and they make them equivalent to Canadian standards. For example, is your degree back home equivalent to a degree here in Canada? If you have a master's degree back in your country, maybe that you obtained from any university outside Canada, then they need to evaluate that degree and see if it's equivalent to a master's degree here in Canada. So they are the most, I think, the most popular organization that many immigrants use is the World Education Services, and many people, they call it WES, WES. So again, I'll put a link to this so you can read more on what you need to do for you to get your documents evaluated. But once you are done with those 2 stages, then you can go ahead and make what they call an express entry profile. An express entry profile, you make it on the government website. I've shared a link already for those people who are following me on Facebook. I've shared a link. I'll put a link again here that links you to the Canadian government website where you are going to be able to create your express entry profile. So when you create your express entry profile, they are actually going to allocate points according to what they call the CRS calculator. This is like a comprehensive ranking system that the government of Canada then uses to calculate how many points you have. Because the express entry program is based on draws that they do according to people who have more points from the express entry pool. So when they are calculating your points, they have factors that they take into consideration. Number 1, they consider your age. The younger you are, the higher the points that you get. That's why it is imperative for those people who are still under 30 to apply through the express entry program, because once you reach 30 you begin to lose points. So when you are under 30, for age only you get 100 points, but once you are over 30 you begin to lose 5 points until a point where you don't even get any points according to your age. And then they also look at your educational qualifications. That's why you need to do that credential evaluation. They also consider your marital status. Like if you are going to come with your spouse, then in some cases that might actually reduce your total score when eventually you create a profile in the express entry pool. But then that should not be a discouragement. Most of the time, if you are coming as an individual, like you don't have any family, you might get more points. But if you are a couple, then you can compare to see like the person who is likely to get more points when we eventually create the profile is the person who should apply as the main applicant. Then the other factors also they consider is a job offer. I know it's not easy to find a job from outside Canada, but there's no harm in trying. People who are in the skilled trades category, you can actually find a job from outside Canada. You are also likely to get more points. So a job offer and a provincial nomination gives you more points in the express entry profile. Then if you have also relatives in Canada, like a biological brother or your biological sister who is a permanent resident or a citizen here in Canada, you get more points. Okay, So enough about the comprehensive ranking system. Then with the express entry program, you need to have proof of funds, because the government of Canada wants to make sure that when you come to Canada, you can survive for at least 6 months, because it's not like as soon as you come, you will find a job. So they want to make sure that when you come, you are able to support yourself and your dependents, if you have any, for the first 6 months when you land in Canada. And that amount of money, guys, it's actually very important, because when you land here in Canada, there are so many expenses that you will incur. So that's why the government of Canada wants you to prove that you have enough funds to cater for the first 6 months when you come to Canada. Again, for this one, I'll provide a link that shows how much you need. Like if you are an individual, right now, you need 13,310 Canadian dollars. If you are a family or a couple, 2 people, you need 16,570 Canadian dollars. And the amount keeps on increasing, depending on your family size. Okay. Then I'm looking at my notes because I actually jotted down some notes to make sure that I don't miss out anything. So how do you prove like that you have enough funds? So these are like official letters from your bank. Like if your money is in your bank account, then your bank can give you an official letter showing the amount of money that is in your account. Some people then might say, but I don't have that amount of money. Where will I even get it from? So if you do everything else like the English test, the educational assessments, and maybe you see that, everything is working, that you can come, you can actually use the express entry program to come, but you don't have funds. If you have a relative who can give you some money that you can use as proof of funds, more like a loan actually, and they call it a gift deed. So you can actually use a gift deed to prove that you have enough funds to settle here in Canada. So a gift deed is just a legal document that is showing, or that proves that your relative, it can be your brother, your uncle, or whoever it is who wants to help you with a proof of funds, they are transferring, or they are gifting you actually some amount of money that you can use as proof of funds and then to settle here in Canada. So that amount of money, it has to be in your account even until you come to Canada. So it's like a loan that a relative is giving, but they have to prepare an affidavit, or they can prepare a legal document that is signed in front of a notary public, just to make everything authentic. And this is something then that you can use as proof of funds. So when you are uploading your documents, eventually, when you prepare your express entry profile, this is the document that you will use as your proof of funds. Like if you don't have any funds in your bank account, it's possible. I know people who've done this and they were able to come to Canada. Maybe you make an agreement with your uncle, with your relative, that eventually when I get to Canada, if I start working, maybe you will pay back the money. I don't know, but I'm just putting it out there that if proof of funds is really a deterrence, this is another option that you can go for. I'm sure in your family there should be someone who might be willing to help you out. Okay, then when you've done all this and you've created an express entry profile, and then Canada invites now people. Canada does express entry draws once a fortnight, like every 2 weeks. You know, during the COVID era, the draws stopped a bit because of COVID. So they were not inviting people to apply for permanent residence. But now the draws resumed, I think, since July 6th. They've been doing draws every fortnight. So what happens when they do the express entry draws is that they take the people who have the highest points, of course. And the last draw that they did recently, it was on the 14th of September. The cutoff points was, the cutoff score was actually 510, which is very high. You will see that. I'll put a link in the description video, in the description, sorry, of this video, to show you how you can calculate the express entry points. So you will find that 510 is such a high score, and it might be difficult to get it, but it's attainable. And now that they've started doing draws, I'm quite sure that the cutoff points eventually will start going down. 510 is high because it was such a long time before they did a draw, and so many people were in the pool, in the express entry pool, in such a way that it's actually stiff competition right now. But I'm quite sure that the points are going to go down. And by the time maybe we reach next year, maybe the points will go down to 400 and something. So this is the time that if you feel that 510 is too high, maybe because of your age, maybe because of anything else, your educational your educational qualifications, then this is the time for you to start working on what you can do to improve your score. I said you can improve your score by retaking the English test. If you have the funds, if the funds are available, you can actually take the English test several times, because the higher the score you get in your English test, the more the points that you get. And if you feel that your educational qualifications are giving you also low points, like let's say you have a bachelor's degree, because with a bachelor's degree you actually get less points than someone who has a master's degree. And this is the time that you can use to start, advancing or improving your educational qualifications. There are master's programs that take 1 year, 1 year and a half. Like I said, guys, immigration is a project that you invest in. It doesn't happen overnight. It's not like you just uh, decide that I want to go to Canada and the following day you are gone. You work on it, you prepare, you plan. So if you feel that the express entry program, maybe you can actually calculate your points and see how much you are likely to get for points. And if you see that the points are too low, then you can make sure that when you do your English test, you get a very high score. Aim for a band 9 or band 10. If you feel that, if you do that, then you can also work on your education. If you feel that you have a bachelor's degree, go and do a master's. It depends on how badly you want to come to Canada. If it's your dream, then I'm quite sure that it's something that you can pursue with everything that you have. But the reason why I started by sharing about express entry is because this is the most sure method of coming to Canada. It's the easiest if all these factors are working for you, like age wise, education wise, you have the proof of funds. It's the most straightforward method to come to Canada. You can pursue it over a course of 1 or 2 years and you'll be here. So guys, I hope you benefited something from this video. This is not the only method, but this is one of the most popular that many people are using. In my next videos, I'm going to be sharing other pathways, like for those people who feel like express entry is not for them. Like I said, Canada has so many immigration pathways that anybody out there can use to come. If Canada is your dream, may God help you to realize your dream. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Take care.